If your mate is going for boost, you should ideally try and force the ball somewhere to the right corner if possible. If you feel as though you're not good enough to do that, tell your mate to cheat up with you. Here, you should use boost as you grab the pad to try and chase the ball down. This will allow you to get to the ball before the opponent and potentially grab that mid boost. At Diamond, it seems that the main struggle is the inability to combine ideas and intentions, and instead, they are isolated. You turn and immediately boost forward when instead you need to turn and actually look at the position of your mate and the opponent and then decide what to do. If you had done that, you would have seen that your mate is far away and that the ball could be claimed by you. I do like you want to assume an aggressive attacking position, but in Diamond, defense and not conceding is key to ranking up. You need to toggle ball cam on to check the play since you already know where the boost is. If you listen, you can tell that the ball has been hit due to the sound cue, but you have no idea where it went. This is good. You notice the ball bouncing and the opponent could boom it towards net, and you decide to go back a little. At the higher ranks, you would normally stay around mid and potentially fake challenge since your mate is rotating back, but for Diamond, I think your decision is okay. Unnecessary flip here. Good boom. And this is why it was a good boom, because you hit high rather than too far forward, which allows you to get a follow-up shot. Yes, you could have taken a control touch and maybe into a flick instead of booming, but I think this decision was also good since it was really awkward for the opponent to deal with. Good positioning. Speed flip needs work here, but that's a given. Keep practicing and you'll get it. At the higher ranks, I would have told you to path towards your mate for the follow-up and not back post. But at Diamond, I do think it's still good practice to follow the principle of back post. As your mechanics start to improve, breaking those principles start to become possible. The decision here is not bad since it's very similar to the other boom effort that worked really well. The difference is that this time you hit the ball with the hood instead of the corner of the car. This causes the ball to boom too vertically high without any forward momentum. The problem here is that it will hit the ceiling and fall kindly for the opponent. The lesson here is to practice long ball booms by hitting the ball high and far. Good positioning. Normally, I would say to cheat harder and closer, but I understand that diamond kickoffs are very unpredictable. In that case, you should still cheat, but a softer cheat is okay. This is good. You'd expect a first man to challenge, but they didn't, so it looks like you threw the ball away here. Don't worry too much about it, but you could have hit it higher and farther, similar to the previous advice, to make it awkward for the opponents. If this was Champ or GC, I would have told you to turn towards the ball the moment your mate hits it in order to prevent the opponent from taking it and shooting or making a play. However, in Diamond, going to cover net makes a bit more sense since shooting consistency is quite low. To summarize, playing in net is okay to get out of Diamond, but once you're in Champ, it won't be good enough anymore. Good that you noticed mate and didn't panic with a double commit save. Boost management. You just grabbed 100 and now you're already at 65. I understand why you spent boost. It's because you wanted to get back into the play as soon as possible. This is completely fine. However, the problem is that you didn't grab pads to refill back to 100. A lot of players think boost management is how you conserve your boost, which is true, but I believe it's how you go about refilling it. Here, you're caught out of position because you simply autopiloted or didn't proactively read what could happen. If the ball is rolling up the wall very quickly, it is likely to come back at you even quicker, which means you need to be back post to cover a potential shot. You realize this and try to score it to back post, but it's too late. The lesson here is to proactively read what's happening and position accordingly. Unfortunate backflip, and then you panic to clear the ball. But if you look, you can see that the opponent is backwards, which means he won't be able to get a strong shot. Had you just stayed in net, you could have saved it, but the real problem was the backflip, so it's all good. You need to fast aerial here instead of single jump aerial. I don't like commenting too much on mechanics because it requires isolated videos and explanations. But for those of you that really want to improve aerial and ground car control, please check out Kev Pert's videos. Tip: try not to flip around too much. Remember, flipping keeps you stuck in animation, which means you don't really have control over your car. Good decision not to go for the corner boost as it looks tempting. You had an opportunity to pass it back to your mate, but you unfortunately missed the ball. I like how you just don't run away because you don't have boost, but instead you play the ball and try to create some kind of pressure. It appears that you have good game sense for your rank, but perhaps mechanics is what's holding you back. This is why booming high and far with power is great to learn in Diamond. As you can see, even your mate struggles to make this save. Learning backwards saves is really helpful to practice. There are plenty of training packs for this. I'm not sure what happened here, if this fake kickoff was intentional or not. Either way, this ball can be saved with 26 boosts if you fast aerial. Of course, for Diamond, it's really awkward and difficult, but definitely possible if you practice. If you lose kickoff and the ball is flying to your corner, immediately path towards pads and corner boost towards back post. This pathing gets you back to the net quicker and could potentially save you from conceding. And you would have had a much better chance to save this shot. This is your ball. You should be full boosting towards corner boost and picking up this ball. Instead, you let them have the ball. I understand in Diamond it might not be that big of a deal since they're not consistent, but in Champ they will punish you for this. A better pass and you would have gotten scored on. Okay, here it looks like you're hitting it just for the sake of hitting it. Let's go back. Just because you're going fast doesn't mean you have to hit the ball fast. You had a few options like to brake and control the ball, or you could have passed back to your mate. You're driving too laterally here, which means you won't get to the ball before the opponent. You needed to drive towards the green arrow to ensure you get there first. I understand you're trying your best to rotate back quickly, but this is autopiloting. If you think proactively here, you'd know that the best play is to chase and demo that opponent in mid. If you demo him, then there's basically no fear of getting scored on. Here, you should be getting that corner boost, or at least some of the pads as you get behind your mate. As you can see, your mate is heading towards the right, and he's on backboard uncontested, which means you should get behind him as he's likely to get 50'd when he drops down. This position makes sense because it's a 2v1. Had there been two opponents back, I would have told you to stay closer and behind mate. However, as you can see, your mate is about to get challenged here, so you should be turning towards the left. This is so you're ready for the 50 and can follow up if needed. Don't stray too far away from the play. Although your intentions are clear, your mate doesn't have possession, so you still need to keep close. Here, it's either you go right now or you don't go at all. Don't try and wait and see if it's comfortable enough to aerial and then do it. It'll be too late. I do like how you position here for a pass from your mate. However, at Diamond, it just isn't worth it as the cons far outweigh the pros since it's not easy to pass and score, especially with how inconsistent mechanics are at this rank. Just rotate behind and focus on not conceding or giving up any kind of possession. I like this demo attempt even though it's risky since the opponents still have one mate heading towards net behind you. It would have been better if you passed for pads to get closer to the play, but it's not too bad at this rank to go for mid boost. Your mate has rotated back here, which means you need to apply pressure to the opponent on the ball by challenging. I understand you're positioning wide here for a pass, which is good intentions. However, I do think that at Diamond, it's probably much more effective to go for a demo on their last man and let your mate drive it into an open net. No need to jump here since it makes recovering a bit awkward. A simple drive hit with boost will put enough power in it and you'll still be grounded for any follow-up. Good aggression here. If you know the ball is heading straight to your mate like here, try to practice not flipping. I know it's situational and you need to get back sometimes, but in this case you don't need to because it's very likely your mate will boom it back. And if you're flipping, then you're stuck in animation and it might take you longer to get back to where the play is. It's not a big thing, but it'll help in the long run. Here, it looks like you didn't flip challenge earlier because you thought you could get a shot on net. But as you can see, there's an opponent who's going to 50 you. This happens because diamond players tend to focus on the ball more than the cars. A good way to practice this is to play casual twos and tell yourself that you're only going to focus on the cars and not the ball. Only use your peripheral vision for the ball. Good positioning and movement. Whenever your mate is about to take a 50, you have to be fairly close to pick up the second ball. Here, you're too far. If it 50s and it spills to mid, the opponent will take a powerful shot on net. If you're close, you can chase the ball down and stop the potential shot with a 50. Incorrect rotation here. You need to rotate back post here simply because the opponent is about to 50 or even win the ball. This means that the ball is likely to swing round the corner towards your net and being back post can help deal with that. Had the opponent pinched this ball a bit harder, the ball would have been going across your goal line right about now, making it very awkward to save. This positioning is a bit strange. You're positioning mid when you don't have possession. You either needed to go quick and challenge the opponent on the ball, or you stay behind your mate and let him challenge the ball instead. Also, positioning like this loses you sight of the other opponent too. Specific tip for diamond. If you notice that your mate has hit a really powerful shot, especially if it's high and far, I would recommend you get close with a whiff save so you can try and sneak in an open net shot. I do think it does depend on shooting capabilities and backboard reads, but you can decide if this tip is applicable to you or not. Good lead for mate and good positioning. A big problem in Diamond and sometimes Champ is that whenever they go to 50, they position their car with the intention of hitting the ball on net. You should understand that the opponent isn't just going to let you score on their net. This means that whenever you 50, you should be thinking about how to beat the oncoming opponent and not trying to score. Great demo. Unfortunate touch. Ground control needs more work. You need to toggle ball cam here to see what's going on. Your mate might have intentions in passing to you and you wouldn't have a clue about it. You shouldn't have car cam on for longer than a second, maybe even half a second. No need to reverse here. You should be darting through mid, trying anything to pick up a follow-up or a pass and shot, since it's a 2v1. This is because you're losing by 1 goal and there's only 35 seconds to go, so it's okay to be a bit risky here. Nice try. You need to path towards a green arrow because the ball could spill out mid for a shot, and you also need to be close for a follow-up too. You need to take into context the scoreline as well as the time left and let that information dictate how you should position. Good touch but unfortunate bump. Good save.